Well, first, thank you all for coming. I appreciate you being here. Obviously, there's a lot of buzz in the air. We're very excited to get this season underway. Excited to open up on Thursday night, be the first opportunity really college football going to open a season. I think that's an exciting time also as well, and get a chance to welcome Southeast Missouri in here and show our fans again what we've done over the last year and how far we've progressed. I think our guys have had a great camp. Our guys in the off season did an outstanding job in the weight room. I think we've got some newcomers getting ready to introduce to our fan base, and I'm excited where we are right now. I'm real pleased with the way our guys have handled their business. The biggest thing for us coming out, obviously, in game one is making sure we got to set a ceiling on how well we can play. How good are we? That's the question. I don't know. You got field, and we got to show it under the lights and be able to produce versus somebody else to see. But we feel going into the season that we're better across the board than we were at this time last year. So obviously that's encouraging. But obviously our aspirations are a lot higher than finishing 5-2 and 5-6 overall. And again, that's going to be detailed a lot of how we handle our business throughout that season. Through the course of 11 weeks is going to depend on where we finish at the end of the race, and so. We're very excited, look forward to going into this season, and I want to open up for questions right now.
Coach, you brought in a lot of people, obviously in the off-season. You talked about wanting to create competition. Can you talk about how that has gone and what, maybe some evidence that you've seen that's really made a difference?
Well, it has. I think the quality of our practice has been a lot better. Competition is, one, it's not just to create the practice competition to make players play at their best, because you're going to perform at your highest level when you're pushed. You got to be pushed to that limit, and if it's only on Saturday, then again, sometimes you're not prepared for it. We've got to get in that. We said we want to get to a situation where we're the best offense and defense we see on practice, all year long, and. I think we've had some great competition across the board, a lot of positions. The biggest, I'd say, indicator it's going to say is that we're probably going to walk out in game one and we're going to play too deep on both sides of the football. You're going to see 50 guys get a lot of snaps and quality snaps in game one. And some of that competition is not done. It's going to go throughout the season. Some of that competition is going to just be a week-by-week basis, and it's going to hopefully bring out the best in them and bring out the best in our football team. But I think also, it also helps when injuries do occur, because it's game to game. It's going to happen. You've got quality people stepping into those roles, guys that are really fulfill them, again, you want whoever you put out there needs to be a starter. They are the starter. You don't go into a game and say, well, hey, my starter's out, I'm playing with a 2, do I get an extra down? So, what you really want is that competition on a weekly basis. It brings out the best of them and gets that, that 1, 2, or 3, or whoever the next guy is getting his number called. When he steps to the plate, he's ready to go.
Coach, talk about that competition, especially on the offensive line. 2 new starters this year, just how they're fitting in with this line is gelling early on.
Offensive line I've been really pleased with. I'm excited to see them go against somebody else. I know we're tired of hitting each other, but the most exciting thing about the offensive line is that I really feel that we're putting 10 out there. We got 10 guys that are in the mix, that are in the hunt, and will play significant playing time, and that's pretty good. And that's really, the big goal where we wanted to get to, because it allows those other guys to play at a higher level, knowing you're not going to have to play tired. There is a quality guy behind me that's ready to step in here and take some snaps and go after it. So, we're excited about that, and I really think our offensive line is going to be a lot more physical up front. I think they're going to be a lot more durable, and I think you're going to see us hopefully progress throughout the season on a week-to-week basis.
Also, keep it running back, the 4 guys.
Yeah.
Do you want somebody to step up, or are you out on a rotation basis, or?
They're all going to play. They're going to play, and I really feel at that position what you got to do. Yeah, I don't see if one to say, okay, if a guy's the 1, the next guy's the 2, it don't matter. They're all good enough to play. They're all exciting players with the ball in their hands. So we're going to get them touches. And we're going to get them touches throughout the season. That's not going to matter. A lot of that thing's going to be who steps up on when the lights kick on. Who's going to take it to the next level. And it's not just with the ball in their hands, but it's in, at that position, it's about now who's going to separate themselves. It's based off of protection. Can they protect the quarterback? Can they catch the ball in the backfield? Eliminate mistakes. That is a feature position, and obviously, you expect that guy, and I expect that guy in our ball club. If you're going to be a championship level team, he needs to be a physically dominant. He needs to be a mentally tough kid. He needs to be a durable kid. And I think we're a lucky situation right now that we got multiple guys in that position to do that job. So we're going to be durable. I think we're going to play at a high quality, and I think we're going to be very productive at a running back position.
I guess last year showed that you can never have too many running backs.
No doubt. I mean, that's a tough thing. We got hit with the injury bug last year at that position. And probably by force, it forced us to keep looking for that next guy, and I think it really worked out in our benefit, because the guys the two we finished with, but we're by far the most talented two we had put back there all season long, and they were young, and we didn't want to put them in that fire at that point, but I think they did a great job, and then they've gained exposure and experience for this year, and it's going to help pay dividends for them.
How healthy are you guys coming out of camp?
Good, really. I mean, we got some dings and bruises. We got a couple guys that got some, surgeries through fall camp. They won't be with us this season, like I said, not many. We got you talk about two that we're probably counting on this year that are going to be missing this season. John Roberts, Blaine Arnold. Blaine may be back midway. He's about on a 5 or 6 week program. Hopefully he can get back on the field and get running. John hurt his knee, and he's done for the season.
Coach, at college ball, can you talk about the impact of pace and how it's going to reflect on you guys? Offensively, you've got a quarterback who came from a program where, hurry up and run is, common. You're going to be facing teams that do that. So from both the offensive standpoint and the defensive standpoint,
Yeah.
how do you approach that, and how do you feel?
Well, we have been in the past, we have been a tempo team, and at times, I think it's not a consistent thing, but at times you're calling for that. We probably played a little slower last year than we probably have played in the past as a coaching staff, just because not all the times did we want to push the tempo because maybe we didn't have the depth to continue, or we had to slow the game down to make sure we stayed in the hunt. I think this year with our talent, there's times we're going to push that pace as hard as we can. Defensively, that's something also when people with the fast pace and no huddle and all that you got to have. You've got to have depth there, and that's a big part where I think we're a lot further along now, just because now you push the pace, and we've got guys that can step in the role and go, and so I think you're going to see us push the pace on both sides of the football, and that's what it's all about. To me, that's what we're trying to set the tempo of the ball game on both sides, offensively and defensively, how fast we play, how not just by the quality of the speed of the in between plays, but as we play during the play, how fast we play on offense. Again, then setting the tempo on offense and defense, how fast we play, and establish a tempo again that we want to be that situation where we wear people out during the game and throughout the season.
Coach, 2 weeks y'all made on defense. First, Drew Maceda taking over at middle linebacker for Hubert, and the second one, true freshman Trinity Troxclair at safety.
Okay.
Just talk about those two moves.
Well, that's like I said, we really feel like we've got, we got 2 starting Mike linebackers. They're both a high quality player. Obviously, Q's is an NFL prospect, Senior Bowl watch list, all that stuff. I think the only thing that tells us is what level also Drew Maceda's playing at. He's really came in and been a pleasant surprise in fall camp. He's played exceptionally consistent. I think the lights all kicked on about his game and how he's supposed to play, and next year he'll be an NFL prospect. And we got some of that across the board. That's one thing we've got when you create competition. It's not I think it's going to add to our football team and our depth and make sure we can play at again the pace that we're talking about being able to play at. Trenton Crossclair has been exceptional. He's had an exceptional fall camp. He's a guy that come in here, and we're probably a little more, pleasantly surprised of how fast he picked things up, how quickly mentally it was. We knew he was a good athlete and those things. But I think it probably helps. He comes, he's a coach's son. Comes in here, plays a high school quarterback. Came in here and has really grasped things pretty quickly, and has allowed us to make some other moves in the back end, and move some other people around. And so we're real pleased about him, and I think he's going to be a great football player for us.
Coach, what are some things that you're doing to keep the momentum from the previous season, not just on the field but off the field?
Yeah.
Team morale.
Yeah. We do a lot of things for team morale, but the biggest thing we talk about momentum, this is a new year. It's a brand new year. You got to put that last there. It's got to put to rest. I mean, it's done. It's over with. And what we got to work on right now is we got to find out what type of attitude, character. What is this team really? What's 2013 going to all be about? How are we going to put our stamp on things, and what are we going to be remembered for? Who's going to be our players of 2013? You don't know those things. I mean, a lot of times you come into these things at the beginning of the season, you think, hey, this guy, I think he's ready to step up, or this guy had a good year last year, he's going to build on that. You really don't know. You really don't. You got to get on that field and find out who's going to be the faces that are going to be the fan favorites. Who are going to be those guys that people fall in love with? Who's going to be those guys that's going to make plays for us on Saturday? And who's going to be the guy that we haven't talked about yet, that maybe you don't know about, that's going to step to the plate, and everybody's going to say, who is that, and where did he come from? And those are all things that I expect to happen throughout this season. I think they're things that happen. You expect them to happen when you win, and we expect to win. And so I expect some guys to step to the plate and get some job done that maybe haven't done it yet. And I expect some guys to be some exciting football players again that maybe haven't been noticed as much at this time. But we're gonna get a lot more guys to that plate. And I think, again, best thing you can always do for team morale is win.
And how do you keep the team grounded? What are some advices that you give players?
Well, the biggest thing, I think, if we focus on coming out every day as a team, and we focus on getting our job done, and it's really, for us, it's about focusing on practicing and setting the tempo in practice, practicing and trying to make that perfect practice, trying to make sure we're improving every day, and we're focused on the little things, the fundamentals, the techniques, the assignments, the knowing your job. And there's always little things we can always work on, and that's what we're trying to really work on right now. We'll work out throughout the season. Is that we're trying to get that thing done and work as fast as we can. And anytime we can increase the tempo and pace in practice, we're trying to do it. And all I know is that if you focus on that in the process of getting better, then the results at the end of it's going to be, they're going to take care of itself. And you're not really, we don't spend a whole lot of time talking to our players about, let's go, about winning. Let's go win, let's go win. No, that's not. We got to talk about, doing your job better, doing it faster, being more consistent with it, doing all those things, and we really keep them focused on the basic things that they can control. Then they'll be grounded, and they know, hopefully, they're going to understand that what's going to allow them to be successful.
And what's the team tone been like this summer? What's the general tone?
Well, I think they're very excited. I mean, I thought the summer was, a great attitude. We had unbelievable attendance in our summer program. There was the work ethic was outstanding. Like I said, they came into fall camp stronger, better shape, a lot stronger, a lot better shape than last fall. So I think we had made a huge step on a maturity standpoint and a mentality standpoint. And then we kind of carried that into fall camp. We really had, I'm going to say that there was probably 2 practices we've had that I really wasn't pleased with our tempo and our effort. Besides that, I think we continue to get better on a daily basis. And that's what it's all about. And as long as we continue that, we're going to be in great shape.
Coach, can you just do tackling rules? Does it affect the way you all coach at all now, the defenders, or?
No, you're talking about the launching, the targeting rule?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I mean, what we do, we explain it to the kids. We show them videos of the NCAA puts out for the officials, and try and clarify that to them so they understand the difference and what's going to be a penalized, play this year. I think there's still a lot of vagueness. There's a lot of vagueness in the call. There's going to be some mistakes throughout the year, and that's what we've said. The biggest thing, is that you set that rule and balance for the FBS, and the FBS has instant replay. And it's great, so the official gets to go over and look at it again and make sure they're right. But a lot of our games, we're not going to have instant replay. So we're going to have an official making a call on a quick second, and he's going to make the right call. And there's going to be mistakes with it. There's going to be a couple times they're going to make the call and they're going to be wrong, and the kid's going to get ejected. But We got to know that going in. That's why you really can't leave the room for error. We got to make sure that, again, there's a really, if everybody's not sure, the rule is saying basically if you come after anybody and you target the head or neck area on contact, that's an ejection. There's so many times that a play happens with somebody, and okay, you're talking about the difference between hitting him here and hitting him here, and you're talking about the difference between 3 inches, and 3 inches an ejection, and 3 inches lower is a great play, and everybody in the stands going nuts. That's a tough burden they put on officials. It really is. That's a tough burden you put on officials to make that call. So. But that's college football, and that's where we're at. So we're gonna have to live with it, and obviously we'll go through it and make the adjustments as we go.
You talk about how your schedule sets up. You start off with you've got a lot of buzz out there already. You start out with a wonderful opportunity with a Thursday night home game season opener and all that. Then you go away for a month.
Yeah.
The challenge of kind of keeping the momentum going through that period of time, just both from a fan base and a team base. How do you guys?
Well, I really think this is, it is great to open up at home. That's outstanding. We're going to go on a three road game stretch. That's going to check us really on a mentality standpoint and a maturity standpoint, is how well can we play on the road for 3 straight weeks. And there's a lot of travel involved with it. You're talking about a 9-hour bus ride, a plane flight to South Dakota, and then you got to drive 6 or 7 hours to Birmingham. That's a lot of time on the road for our guys. So it's going to check our maturity. It's going to check really, our mental toughness. And if we take care of our business and we win, that's going to take care of the fan interest and make sure they stay in tune with everything. We got to do our part, and the fans will be there. And then no matter what happens, we're going to be excited to come back here and play in front of our crowd.
No easy games in that stretch.
No, there's no easy games in that stretch. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle, and again, but that's it. I mean, really, what you're looking for is an opportunity to go play some, quality opponents that bring out the best in you. To me, I've always said about this: non-conference is about one thing. It's about preparing you for conference play. That's what it's about. The number one objective on our schedule is to win the conference. That's it. And how we can prepare, how tough we can get, or how mental toughness strain we can put to ourselves in that process to get ourselves ready to play conference play. The more we can develop as a football team mentally and physically, then the more power to us. And that's the whole basis. We got to get through that stretch and make sure we are more than prepared, and we are a quality team. So when we go into conference play, we're ready to put our best foot forward and go win us a championship.
You guys lost Robert, obviously, to the NFL draft. Are you guys kind of looking at Todd Washington to step up and be that leader back there?
Well, we expect Todd to go on and have a great season. I mean, he's had a great fall camp. He's a great player, and we fully expect him to have a great senior year, just like we do any one of our seniors. We no bones about it. We tell our seniors that if we're going to win and we're going to do the things we have to do, our senior class has to have the best season of their life. The best season of their career needs to happen this fall. And if we get that type of senior leadership and they're playing at a high level, then your team's playing at a high level. So yeah, but not all the pressure's going to be put on Todd. There's a whole lot of people out there that we'll expect to take up those roles and do that. We think we're better as a secondary across the board, than we were last year. So it's not going to all be put on his shoulders, and it's not like he's got to fill Robert Alford's shoes. No, Todd Washington's got to be Todd Washington. And he needs to take care of the things he can do and play his own way. And when he does that, he's going to be a great player.
What are some other players that you've seen shine during practice?
Every time somebody's asked me that in fall camp, I kind of get down and say, well, how long a list do you want? Because I think we've had a ton of players step up. I mean, I don't know where we start. You start on offensive line. There's been a lot of players that had a great camp. I think Jeremy Wilson had a great fall camp. I think Marshall Parrish had an outstanding fall camp. I think Gaston Gabriel's had an outstanding fall camp. I mean, I can go on and on. There's the first 3 seniors to start rattling about. When you talk about receivers, a couple of our receivers didn't go through fall camp very much because of injuries and stuff. Chris Millott, Tony McCray, they really didn't go through a whole lot of fall camp. They went through some individual periods. They went through the stuff just because they both had surgeries in off season. We're still going through that rehab process. I know what they're capable of doing. I just want to get them ready for game 1. So we worked them to make sure they're in shape and ready to go, but they really didn't go a lot. So it gave some opportunities, I think, at receiver from some other guys to step up. I think Marquise Fruget's had a good camp. I think the newcomers you say at receiver that probably you're going to get to know, I think, real quick is going to be Devontae Scott and Isaiah Kepley. I think there's two names that are going to pop out that we really expect those guys to be impact players. I think when they got the potential really to do some special things for us. You talk about running back position. Right now it's we got 4 quality ones. We got 4 that we felt can start anywhere in this conference. The top 3 has been really going through camp because one, Darius Guy he had hamstring pulls all fall camp. He's not at the level he needs to be at to compete with those other 3. If those other 3 went in the mix, I'd be telling you we got a great tailback in Darius Guy. But I'm telling you he's not at the level of those other 3 just because those other 3 are pretty special players. When you say Xavier and Rashid and Cody Sutton, they're pretty special players. So they had all, when their numbers been called, they've been pretty special to ball camp. Defensively, I could say the same thing. Our front 3 defensive line, I think, is really good players. Jacob Newman, Greg Trier, and Jeremy Williams. We kind of went through a shuffle mix and who's those 2s are. We've been through a little shuffle on the D-line. Who are the 2s? Who are they? They've kind of been an ongoing revolving, battle. Nobody's really stepped up and said, hey, we're still trying to get somebody wants to step up and say, hey, I want to play at those guys' level, and I want to get in there and play with them. I want to split reps with those guys. We really have had that. I think there's some good players in there. There's some guys that are going to be good players for us. When that light kicks on, I don't know. Whether it's before Thursday or if it's game 3 or 5 or 7, I don't know. The light's got to kick on, and they got to get mature and understand that, you got to play at the level the guy at the front of the line is. And so when I say, I think we talked to our linebackers on set, but the 2 outside right now, outside linebacker Caleb Muse and Isaiah Corbett is again a new name that people don't know about. He's they're big time players. They're phenomenal players. I think we got as good a linebacking core as anybody in the conference. And that's what we want. I think we got the best linebacker core in the conference. Secondary, same thing. There's been guys. Harlan Miller had a great camp. He's come out as that other starting corner. It's like Todd Washington. You saw we mentioned Trenton Trosclair. Kevin Harmon's a name that probably last year was in a spot role. That's really had I think he's going to do some special things. Tyler Stoddard missed a lot of fall camp. But we know what he's capable of doing. Come lights come on, he's going to play well. I just went down the whole roster, didn't I? We have high expectations, and we expect them all to play at a high level. Yeah.
What about Southeast Missouri? It's officially okay to talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
What are they not? What are they going to? How?
Well, 2 years ago they went to the playoffs. Okay, just so you know, 2 years ago they go to the NCAA playoffs. Last year they come into fall camp. Their starting quarterback goes down. They end up playing a true freshman. He ends up being conference freshman player of the year. He's pretty special. But they were pretty one-dimensional, and their offensive playbook kind of got dwindled. So they struggle a little bit, and they go 3-8. But the year before they go to playoffs, they're number 3 in the nation in rushing. Okay, defensively they were tops in their conference in pass defense. I think they're going to be a quality club. They're going to come in here, and are they going to run as much as last year? I would highly doubt that. This other kid is back, and he's the starter, so I'd expect they're going to be more balanced on offense. I think we're looking at as possibly they're going to come in here and they're going to be a playoff caliber football team, and we've got to be ready for that. We've got to be ready to come out of the gates and play the level of football, or the best level of football we can play, and that's what it's all about. They're going to be a quality opponent coming in here. They're going to offensively, they're going to run the football, they're going to run the option, they're going to try to shove it down our throats and be physical, try to get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and try to control that clock. And defensively, they're going to try to play bend, don't break, sit back, and try not to give up the big play. And we just got to go out and execute and do our thing.
What kind of offense are they running? Is it shotgun type?
They do. They get underneath the center with 2 backs and a tight end, and they'll run the option out of that, and they're getting a shotgun, and they'll run all the option shotguns, all the spread option stuff as well. So last year, they didn't throw the ball 15 times a game. But again, that was a true freshman quarterback that, going into game one, they didn't think he was playing. So I think I'm expecting the ball club to come in here. It's going to be a quality club that's seasoned and ready to go.
Are the quarterbacks similarly skilled?
The kid that's starting, we have not seen on film. He transferred in he was at University of Ohio, transfers in there last year, gets a starting job, gets hurt before game one. So we've never seen him on tape. But if he's I don't think he'd be a better athlete than the kid they had back there. But obviously I would think he'd be a lot more well-rounded and be able to throw the football and open up the playbook because he's an upperclassman and a lot more experienced.
Kind of to follow that, I mean, how hard is it for you guys? Because you're watching Phil come from last year. You don't think
Yeah.
the same thing. How difficult is it for you guys to prepare?
Well, game one's always tough. And I think it's tough on us, game one's tough because you don't know what they worked on in spring practice. You don't know, what they've done coming fall camp. You don't know who stepped up the plate and the light kicked on for some kid and he's taking a better. You don't know the level they're going to play at, and you don't know what the changes they've made schematically, either side of the ball. So you kind of go into this first game. It's kind of you're going to have to. Biggest thing you're going to who can make adjustments early. And the second thing is who's going to take care of themselves. It's about us executing and then making adjustments early as soon as if we see something that's not what we thought was supposed to happen. How fast can we make those adjustments on the sidelines, not wait till halftime to make them? That would be huge. And but to me, that's always game one. At least it's not at Missouri this year.
Coach, new year, new quarterback, big departure from Nathan Stanley in the past.
Say that again.
New year, new quarterback, big departure from Nathan Stanley.
I'm not understanding it. Picked apart?
No, big, new quarterback,
Yeah.
big departure from Nathan Stanley that we've had in the past.
Departure.
Oh, departure from Nathan Stanley? Well, Brian Bennett's a guy that, he can throw it, he can run, he can do any of that stuff. He's got a strong arm. He's a good athlete. The best thing he's probably done in fall camp is made himself a better quarterback. I think understanding, setting protections, making checks line of scrimmage, recognizing what he's seeing, and being able to, step his game up. I think he's really matured a lot as a quarterback. And the thing I've always said I like about him most is, I think he's very mentally tough. I think that position, the more mentally tough they are, the better chance you got to have a mentally tough football team. And I think he's done that. And I'm excited about what he's going to bring to the table and his ability to lead this football team. And I'm expecting him to have an unbelievable year. Did I answer that? Okay.
Coach, last year you guys did a lot of creative things, unique plays. You were kind of playing with a team that was maybe a little, under-talented compared
Yep.
to what you had to do. Sometimes you have to do things like that when you're maybe not quite as good as the other team.
Right.
This year you're better.
Yep.
Does that philosophy change?
Yeah, it does. How much we do is, I probably won't see us doing as much. Rolling the dice as many times. You got to roll it. There's certain things I do believe in. There's certain things that we will do. But obviously, I don't think we'll have to roll the dice as much. You never know. And we'll have to see how we go because we make that decision on on Sundays. We sit in there as staff and figure out, possessions and how many times do we need to steal a possession here or there? How can we do this? And then try to find ways to get it done. So, I still don't. It's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a tough way, and we're going to have to find a way to win some ball games.
Coach, kicking game, struggled last year, both
Yep.
field goals and kickoffs. How y'all really adjust that in the offseason?
Well, we brought in some other guys and created some competition. And I thought they've done a good job. Our kickers done a great job in fall camp. Again, you got to put them on the lights and see what they're going to do. You know, kicking out there in front of, you know, some players and maybe 50 people watching practice ain't the same thing as putting them in front of a crowd and see how they can put, when lights are on, the pressure's on. You know, I think it's different. You know I wouldn't want to drive off the tee box with a gallery, and you know, I think that's kind of what the situation is for them. You know, they got to go out there with the lights on and the focus on them. And a lot of kicking is just how well you handle pressure. You know. So I think they had a good fall camp. I'm expecting them to have a good year. It's still right now. It's Seth Sebastian handling the kicking duty, the field goal duties. Ryan Adams handling the kickoff duties, and Matt McCormick handling the punt duties. So, you know, I think they'll all have a, you know, I think they'll have a better year. If not, we got other guys in the plate ready to step to the plate and give it their shot.
The kick return thing, was that the kickers? Was that the personnel around them? Or combination? Or y'all were kind of low in the league in kickoff yards allowed, return yards allowed now. Was it them not placing the ball, or was it?
A combination. I mean, really, but a lot of it was, yeah. I think a big part of that is, you know, we had, you know, a lot of times we had schemed stuff up, and you know, it just by downfall one or the other, either didn't put the ball where it needs to be, or, you know, somebody just obviously not stepping up. But it's something we worked tremendously hard at, and I really expect us to be one of the top units at that.
Getting back to Southeast Missouri, looking at their defense, I think they've only got 3 starters coming back. But looking at what you've seen, what are they doing well on the field defensively?
You know, biggest thing, they seem to be fundamentally sound. Seem like they're well coached. They're not in the wrong position a lot. So I mean, that's why I think the best thing they're doing is they're playing sound football on that side of the ball. They don't blitz much. They don't pressure you much. They're not going to take a lot of shots. They're not taking chances. You know, their game plan across the board really is to run the football and control the clock. And you know, they want to get you in a 17-14 ball game. That's what they want to get. That's what they want to do. You know, and that's kind of the philosophy across the board of them.
More questions for Coach? Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
I'm going to go